Hello and welcome. Today we're going to break down something that sometimes seems a little tricky in English, phrasal verbs. But I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to see that they're way simpler and way more common than you probably think. All right, let's jump right in. So, first things first, that term, phrasal verb, it sounds a little scary, right? Kind of like some super complex grammar rule you have to memorize page by page. And trust me, a lot of learners feel that exact same way. But here's the secret. They're not difficult at all, especially if you learn them in a way that feels natural. And you know what? The absolute best way to do that is by putting them inside a simple story, which is exactly what we're about to do. Okay, so what even is a phrasal verb? Honestly, just think of it like a little team of words. You just take a regular verb, like put, and you add a small word to it, like on, and boom, together they team up to create a totally new meaning. Put on doesn't mean to place something on top of something else, it means to wear it. See? Simple. All right, let's get our story started. Just picture this. You're relaxing at home and all of a sudden you hear a knock at the door. You open it, and what's the very first thing you'd probably say? You'd say, "Come in." And there it is, our very first phrasal verb. It just means to enter a place. Your house, an office, a shop, whatever. It's super polite and you hear it all the time. Okay, so your guest has come in. What's next? Well, you'd probably offer them a place to sit. You'd say something like, "Please, sit down." And there's our second one. It simply means to take a seat, on a chair or the sofa. And here's a fantastic little trick for learning these. A lot of phrasal verbs have a direct opposite. So what's the opposite of sit down? Well, it's stand up, of course. When you learn them together as a pair like this, they just stick in your brain so much better. Let's add a little action to our story. So you're chatting with your guest and oops, your keys slip right out of your pocket and fall on the floor. What do you do next? Well, this little accident gives us another perfect pair of opposites. You'd bend over to pick up your keys from the floor. And once you have them, you might put them down on the coffee table. See? Pick up, put down. Learning them together just makes so much sense. Now, phrasal verbs aren't just for physical movements, not at all. They can also be about more abstract things, like responsibilities or feelings. For example, imagine you just brought home a new puppy. So cute. A new puppy needs a ton of attention, right? You've got to feed it, take it for walks, give it lots of cuddles. In other words, you need to look after it. This one just means to take care of someone or something. Could be a child, a pet, or even your plants. Okay, let's think about a different kind of situation. Think about learning any new skill. Really, it could be English or maybe playing the guitar. There are moments when it just feels really hard, You get frustrated, and in those moments, it's so tempting to just give up. That means to quit, to stop trying. But the single most important piece of advice for learning English is hidden right in that phrasal verb. Don't give up. Sticking with it is literally the only way to get where you want to go. All right, for the last stop in our little story today, let's imagine we're out shopping. We're in a clothing store, and you spot a shirt on a rack that you really, really like. So what's the next step? Before you decide to buy it, you've got to try it on. This is such a useful one. It just means to put on a piece of clothing to see if it fits you and if you like how it looks. You can try on a shirt, try on shoes, try on a hat, anything you wear. And look at that. Just by following a super simple story, we've picked up 8 really common phrasal verbs. We started with come in, then we had the opposites, sit down and stand up, the pair pick up and put down, and we finished with look after, give up, and try on. Not so bad, right? So here's the big question. We've learned them, but how do we make sure we actually remember them? How do we make them stick? Because just hearing them once, well, that's not enough. What's the real secret here? Well, here it is. 3 simple steps. First, learn them in situations, in stories, just like we did today. Forget about those long, boring lists. Second, connect them to a picture in your head. When you hear pick up, actually visualize yourself picking something up. And third, start listening for them everywhere. I'm serious. In movies, in your favorite songs, in conversations, you are going to be shocked at how often they pop up. And really, that brings us right back to our most important takeaway. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. There are going to be tough days, but you have to remember that phrasal verb we talked about. No matter what, just don't give up. Okay, now it's your turn. The absolute best way to make these words feel like your words is to actually use them. So here's a little challenge. Pick one of the phrasal verbs we talked about today and write a sentence in the comments using it. I would really love to see what you come up with. Thanks so much for watching.
Okay, let's unpack these phrasal verbs. For many, they sound, well, maybe a little scary, like a complicated puzzle of words.
They definitely have that reputation sometimes.
But here's where it gets really interesting. They are actually incredibly common. You hear them every single day in English conversations. They add color and rhythm.
That's so true. They're sort of the bedrock of everyday chat.
So our mission in this deep dive isn't just to define them. We want to demystify these powerful word teams, make them feel intuitive, maybe even fun.
Yeah, understand how they actually work, not just, memorize.
Exactly.
What's fascinating here, I think, is that a phrasal verb isn't just a single word. It's more like a dynamic duo.
A duo, okay.
Yeah, a verb paired with a small word, often a preposition or maybe an adverb. But the magic happens when they join forces. Because together, they don't just add up their separate meanings.
Right.
They forge a completely new concept, often idiomatic. Think of them as a little team.
A team of words. I like that. Where the whole team means something different than the players alone.
Precisely. And the reason we have so many, well, it often traces back to English's Germanic roots. They give us a more direct, maybe more informal way to say things compared to, say, single verbs from Latin.
A team of words that adds tone and flavor.
Yeah, that really shifts how you approach them, doesn't it?
It does.
So instead of maybe the formal enter, we often just say, come in.
Mm.
And that difference, it's not just vocabulary, is it? It changes the whole feel of the conversation.
Exactly. It's about naturalness.
So what does this all mean for you listening? It means we're going to dive deep into practical, real-world examples. Make these word teams not just easy to understand, but simple to remember.
Mm.
And crucially, effortless to actually use in your own speech.
Yeah.
We're going beyond just definitions here. We want to show you their subtle power.
Precisely. We'll connect them to situations you recognize, maybe to images. We might even touch on their structure a bit.
Structure, okay. Yeah, like our goal is for you to not just recognize them, but to sort of instinctively grasp their nuances. When can you split them up? Or how one phrasal verb might mean totally different things sometimes.
Absolutely. No dry lists today. We are diving straight into scenarios, things that are relatable. Actually, let's just paint a picture right now.
Okay.
Imagine you've just arrived at a friend's house. You knock on the door. They swing it open. Big smile. What do they say?
Well, the most natural, welcoming thing would be, oh, it's you. Please come in.
Perfect. Our very first phrasal verb, come in. It literally means to enter a place. You hear it constantly.
Oh, that's fine.
The door is open. Come in. Or, here's another one. That new fashion trend is really starting to come in. That's an interesting expansion, isn't it?
It is. And that shows the versatility, right?
Yeah.
The main meaning of come in is physical entry, sure.
Right, walking through a door.
But it also describes arrival or becoming popular, like a trend, like you said, or maybe a new technology getting widely used. So that idea of arrival or acceptance, it goes beyond just the physical door.
And the in part.
Well, in here is acting like an adverb. It's modifying come to show direction into the space.
That distinction, literal versus figurative, that's one of those little aha moments, isn't it?
Definitely.
It shows how adaptable these word teams really are. Okay, so I've just come in. I'm standing in your living room. What's the next natural thing you'd likely offer?
Well, naturally, I'd want you to be comfortable. So I'd probably gesture and say, please sit down.
Another fundamental one, sit down, means take a seat. Simple, direct. Good morning, everyone. Please sit down. You know, like a teacher.
Yeah.
But thinking about it, why sit down specifically? Why not just sit?
That's a great question. It highlights the nuance, I think. Sit on its own can just describe a state, like, are you sitting comfortably, or where is he sitting?
Okay, the state of being seated.
Exactly. But sit down specifically emphasizes the action, the movement from standing to seated. The down particle adds that directional focus. It's more active, an invitation or a command to perform the action.
I see. So it's really about the action, that transition. Okay, makes sense. And if I am sitting and you need me to do the opposite, what would that be?
Well, the intuitive opposite of sit down is, of course, stand up.
Right.
Again, the up particle clarifies the action, moving from seated or lying down to an upright position.
Of course. And this pair, sit down and stand up, they really show how connected phrasal verbs often are, don't they?
Absolutely. Logical opposites or similar types of actions.
It's not just memorizing one word, it's understanding a kind of family of related ideas. So if my phone rings across the room, I need to stand up and go get it.
It's exactly.
Or in a more formal setting, maybe we stand up as a sign of respect when someone important enters.
Precisely. These pairs are great for memory. They create a natural link in your mind. And, like you hinted, it's not just physical. You might say a new building is going to stand up where the old one was.
Oh, right, like construction.
Yeah, implying construction. Or you might stand up for what you believe in, meaning, defend your principles. Again, that versatility.
That's fascinating. From just like literal movement to these abstract ideas of building or advocacy, this is where they get really powerful, I think.
It is.
Okay, so we've got come in, sit down, stand up. Where are we heading next with our word team adventures?
Well, let's think about a common, everyday scene. Oh, look. Oh, dear. I seem to have dropped my keys on the floor. Could you help me?
Of course. I'd say, sure, I'll pick up your keys for you. And there we have it. Pick up. Lifting something from lower down to higher up. Simple enough.
Seems simple.
But I suspect there's more to this one too, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. While that physical lifting is the core idea, pickup is incredibly versatile, really useful.
Okay, like how?
Well, it can mean collecting someone, right?
Yeah.
I'll pick up my daughter from school at 3. Or maybe, could you pick up some milk on your way home? Collecting things.
Right, collecting people or items, got it.
It can also mean learning something quite quickly, almost informally. She picked up French surprisingly fast while living there.
Ah, so acquiring a skill or knowledge.
Exactly. Or even just noticing something subtle. Did you pick up on the slight hesitation in his voice?
Wow. Okay, so from physically grasping keys to mentally grasping an idea or a language, or even collecting a person or groceries, that's a huge range for just one phrasal verb.
It really is.
And speaking of picking up those keys,
Yeah.
when I hand them back to you, I'd put them down on the table here.
That's the perfect opposite. Put down. It means placing something you're holding onto a surface, usually lower down, or just setting it somewhere.
Right.
So just like sit down, contrasts with stand up, finds its natural opposite in put down. It's this cycle of everyday actions.
It really is all about these logical pairs, which makes these word teams feel much more, manageable, intuitive even. And now that we've used pick up and put down, this feels like a good moment to ask about that grammar point. When can the object, the thing being picked up or put down, go between the verb and the little word?
Ah, yes, separability. That's an excellent question, and it's really key to sounding natural.
Okay.
Some phrasal verbs, like these two, are separable. That means you can often put the object, the noun, either after the particle or between the verb and the particle.
So for pickup,
you can say, I'll pick up your keys, or I'll pick your keys up. Both work, both sound fine.
okay, that's flexible.
But, and this is the important bit, if the object is a pronoun, like them for the keys, or it, it must go in the middle.
Yeah.
It has to. So you must say, I'll pick them up. You can never say, I'll pick up them.
Ah, okay, that's a really critical distinction. So I'll pick it up, never I'll pick up it. Wow, that clarity alone is super helpful for anyone trying to sound more like a native speaker.
It makes a huge difference to fluency, yeah.
Okay, great. So we've quickly covered come in, sit down, stand up, pick up, and put down. Let's introduce another scenario. Imagine, I just got a new puppy.
Oh, lovely.
He's tiny, adorable, but needs, a lot of care.
Ah, puppies are wonderful, definitely. But yes, also a significant responsibility, aren't they? All that feeding, playing, training, walking. You really need to look after your puppy.
Look after, okay, so that means to take care of something or someone. It implies responsibility, guardianship. It's more than just watching them, right? It's active care.
Exactly. When you look after someone or something, you're assuming responsibility for their well-being, their safety, their health.
Right.
It feels broader than just care for. It implies this ongoing vigilance, a proactive role. Parents look after their children, a gardener looks after their plants.
A manager might look after a project.
Perfect example. And it's interesting how after here isn't about time, is it? It indicates the focus of your attention and care.
That's a great point. It shows again how these little words totally transform the verb's meaning. You definitely wouldn't say, look for your puppy, if you mean taking care of it.
No, completely different meaning.
And again, it seems versatile. Like I look after my car, I get the oil changed, wash it, keep it running well. It's about ensuring something stays in good condition.
Excellent. It extends to that general idea of maintenance stewardship. Good. So we're building up a pretty useful toolkit here of phrasal verbs used in context.
We are.
Now, here's one that often comes up. Well, actually, in the context of learning itself, especially language learning.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. When people are learning something new, maybe English, it can feel really hard sometimes. They stumble, they make mistakes, they get frustrated, and that first impulse might be to just stop trying. They want to give up.
Ah, give up. Yes.
Yeah.
That means to quit, to surrender, to keep trying, often because it's difficult or discouraging. It's quite a powerful phrasal verb, actually. It carries a lot of emotion.
It does, and it's so crucial because the advice is almost always the opposite. Don't give up. Persistence is key.
Absolutely.
I actually had this feeling yesterday. I was trying to learn this really complex new guitar chord. My fingers just wouldn't cooperate. It was so frustrating I nearly gave up.
Oh, I know that feeling.
But then I kind of remembered this advice, pushed through, practiced really slowly, and suddenly, click. It worked. And the reward felt so much better because I didn't quit.
That's a perfect real-world example. When you don't give up, you often hit that breakthrough. And the sense of accomplishment is huge. It's such a powerful message, way beyond just language learning. It applies to so many challenges in life.
So true.
So while give up means stopping, the universal advice is usually its opposite. Keep going.
Absolutely. A very common, very important phrasal verb to understand, both its literal meaning of quitting and how it's used in encouragement. Okay, just one more for today, I think, to round out our practical set.
Sounds good. Let's maybe circle back to our shopping idea. Imagine you're in a clothes shop. You see a shirt, you really like it. What's the absolutely essential next step before you buy it?
Oh, easy. You would absolutely need to try it on.
Exactly.
You can't just buy clothes without checking they fit properly or that they look good on you. You have to see the garment on your own body.
Precisely. Try on. It means putting on clothes or shoes or maybe accessories, specifically to check the fit, the style, the comfort. It's just essential in retail, isn't it?
Completely.
And it's also another separable one. So you can say, I'm going to try on this shirt, or I'm going to try this shirt on.
Okay.
And if shirt becomes it,
Then it has to be in the middle. I'll try it on.
you've got it. Perfect reinforcement of separability.
And it applies to anything you wear, really. Hats, shoes, jackets. It's just that crucial step before buying. I once bought shoes without trying them on. Big mistake.
Oh, no.
Yeah, incredibly uncomfortable, a valuable lesson, maybe a bit painful.
A very relatable experience. It definitely highlights why this phrasal verb is so practical. I mean, who hasn't been there? It saved me from buying a very fashionable but ultimately unwearable hat once.
See? Essential life skill, trying things on.
Totally. So now, just like that, we've actually explored 8 incredibly common, really useful phrasal verbs. Come in, sit down, stand up, pick up, put down, look after, give up, and try on.
And we haven't just, listed them. We've looked at literal meanings, those figurative or idiomatic uses, the grammar bits like separability, and really how they function in everyday chat.
Yeah, they're not just isolated words. They're dynamic bits of English that add so much flexibility.
That's a solid practical list. And hopefully, by talking through the context, you listening have started to picture these actions, maybe even sense those subtle differences.
Right. And as our source material really emphasized, the true secret here is learning them in these vivid, real situations. Understanding the whole spectrum of meaning, not just, a definition on a list.
The context, the imagery, even thinking about the grammar, it's everything, isn't it?
I completely agree. If you can kind of embed them in a story, maybe a personal memory, or just visualize the action, it's so much easier to remember the phrasal verb and, more importantly, to know how to use it right.
Yeah. When you hear come in, you should instantly picture that door opening, but maybe also think of a new idea coming in to fashion.
Exactly. Or you imagine grabbing your keys, sure, but you also remember collecting a friend or even understanding something new quickly.
That's the power, right? Connecting the words with actions, with feelings, with those deeper patterns, that's how you make vocabulary really stick, how you build that nuanced grasp of English.
And honestly, if we connect this to the bigger picture, mastering phrasal verbs, it doesn't just make your vocabulary bigger. It profoundly changes how natural, how authentic your English sounds.
It really does.
You move beyond just basic communication to, well, a much more fluid and expressive way of speaking.
It's true. At first, learners might think, ugh, why 2 words? Why not just 1?
Right.
But once you tune your ear in, you realize they are absolutely everywhere. In movies, songs, TV shows, just chatting with people. Which kind of raises an important question. How often do you truly listen for them?
Yeah, not just for the main meaning, but for those variations, the grammar.
Exactly. Are they using it literally?
Well,
Figuratively? Could it be separated here?
they're so common, sometimes we don't even notice them consciously, even though they're doing so much work conveying meaning, setting the tone. It's why we really encourage you not to give up when learning something new like this, especially these essential building blocks. The more actively you listen, the more you'll just start to absorb the patterns, the correct usage.
So here's something for you to maybe mull over. Next time you're watching your favorite show or listening to a song you like, try to actively listen for just one of these phrasal verbs we talked about today.
Just one to start with.
Yeah, but maybe go a step further. Ask yourself, is it literal here or figurative? Could they have put the object in the middle in that sentence? You'll be genuinely surprised, I think, how often you hear them and how naturally native speakers use them.
It's a great little exercise. It really opens your ears, deepens your understanding of how English actually works. It makes this abstract idea of phrasal verbs feel much more concrete, more tangible.
Transforms passive listening into something more like active linguistic detective work.
Exactly.
Just imagine the clarity, the confidence, that natural flow you can bring to your own conversations just by noticing, understanding, and then eventually using these powerful teams of words yourself.
Keep practicing. Keep listening critically.
And most importantly, don't give up on that joy of discovery in English. It really is a journey, and every phrasal verb you master, that's another big step towards real fluency, towards authentic expression.